Yeah, it was like wasn't the I don't know. I saw a lot of people pissed the deadline for the Pistons did, but like got to be realistic of what they had going into that situation.
Yeah, if you wanted the Pistons to trade for Luka, or if you thought the Pistons were going to trade for Luka or somebody like that, I want some of what you're smoking. This is what we thought the Pistons were going to do. This is what we expected the Pistons to do, and this is what they did. This was a good trade deadline. You netted the GOAT Lindy Waters III. You got Dennis Schroeder, a backup point guard and a ball handler that can help you in these games since Ivy's hurt. And you got a couple second-round picks, and you didn't give up anything. So, it's a good deadline to me. I know who the number 2 on this team is, and that's Jaden Ivey. And do I want to trade a bunch of assets to bring in a guy for the rest of this year until Ivy gets healthy? Like, no, you didn't want to do that. Colin Sexton was the only piece that you could make sense with because he's on a 2-year deal. So that is something that you thought of, but this is what you expected. You expect them to get a backup point guard and to get some pieces, and that's exactly what they did. And they didn't give up anything. Yeah,
it's not like they had – your best trade piece wasn't available, and that was Jaden Ivey. If you were going to make one of those splash moves, then we're going to make any splash moves. We didn't have any first-round picks to give away. We don't own the rights to our own. Like there was nothing for us to work with.
Yeah, and Dennis Schroeder is – the perfect piece for what the Pistons need right now. Like I said, you have the number 2 for Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham's the number 1. You have his Robin. It's Jaden Ivey. He's just injured. So there makes no sense of wasting all these picks or trading things you don't have to go get Cade a superstar. Like, no, you got one that you like and you like the fit and you think they're going to be together for a while in Jaden Ivey. What you needed was a secondary ball handler. What you needed was a guy for the rest of this season to help Cade out that wasn't going to cost you anything, and you got it in Dennis Schroeder. He's averaging like 14 points a game, I think 4 assists, shooting over 35% from 3. He's going to be a perfect option. He plays some pesky defense out on the perimeter. This is a perfect piece for them. They didn't give up anything. They got a guy to help them make the playoffs this year.
And when Brooklyn had that hot start at the beginning of the season, because remember, everyone expected them to be one of the worst teams, and they are still near the bottom, but they're not quite as terrible as we thought. And it was because Dennis Schroeder was putting up 30-point double-doubles, 30 points, 10-plus assists. Like, he was having – so those nights where Cade Cunningham just needs a rest or needs a lot off of his plate, Dennis Schroeder can do that throughout the regular season. Like you have in baseball, you have those innings eaters. That is what Dennis Schroeder can be for Cade Cunningham on nights, which is absolutely huge. And again, shout out to Trajan, because this particular move, $13 million in cap space, was Dennis Schroeder. They got the $14 million by doing that trick with Paul Reed, by waiving him and then re-signing him and freeing up an additional $4 million. So again, this trade specifically, combined with the KJ Martin, doesn't happen without that move by Trajan. So very, very good, savvy move. A great trade deadline for the position you were in. It was an A+.
Yeah, I got no beef with it as far as Detroit Pistons go. We just didn't.
Nobody should be complaining.
Didn't have any realistic expectations if you thought they were going to do anything more than what took place. But Nick, I know you wanted Colin Sexton. Where you at with it?
I'm thrilled. I mean, Colin Sexton was just a little bit more of a flashy name, but Dennis Schroeder, you're getting everything you wanted in Colin Sexton, minus just a little bit from the outside. That's realistically it. And plus, I think Schroeder's length will help him out defensively, compared to Colin Sexton. And I said this to you guys when I walked in the door. The last 2 games the Pistons lost in heartbreak fashion, I don't think you lose either of those games if Dennis Schroeder is a Detroit Piston. You could tell at times when Cade's not on the court is when we got into serious trouble, and I believe Dennis Schroeder is going to alleviate a lot of that stress off of Cade Cunningham's shoulders and everybody else's, especially Marcus Sasser's. So I'm excited for that, and Chris brought up a good point. First 18 games of the season for Schroeder, he was averaging 18 points a game. This guy's solid. For sure. Like, this is exactly what you needed.
He's been a pro everywhere he's gone. That's what you needed.
I wanted somebody to increase the ceiling of this Detroit Piston team. Dennis does that, and you didn't have to give up anything.
Yeah.
Nothing. Literally nothing.
You gained assets.
You got assets.
Yeah. Great first trade deadline by Trajan.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Again, Dennis Schroeder was the name when I saw that moved, and it was originally reported he was going to Utah. I was kind of crashing out a bit. I was like, damn, we should have got that piece of the trade.
Yeah.
That was the perfect piece. And then you see Lonzo sign the extension. That was unfortunate. So
what are they doing?
I mean,
Chicago
look,
Bulls.
that's a good extension, but they should have got rid of Vucevic.
It's a good deal. It works out, but like you're going nowhere right now as a team.
Yeah.
Like, they're like on a treadmill.
They
like,
should have.
There was no need for you to re-sign Lonzo. You should have got something from him.
Where is it? Sorry.
Who's surprised here though? The Bulls are always doing some crazy bullshit.
Stupid shit.
Yeah.
Holla at Dre says we have so many guards. We got one big man. We got two centers in Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart, and then you've got a lot of 3s and 4s with Asar, Ron, Tobias, and Fontecchio. Those are all guys that can play the 3 or the 4. Yeah, not KJ Martin. I said it before. I would be surprised if KJ Martin plays a game for Detroit, and he's not going to play a game for Detroit. KJ Martin, not good.
You were called a madman.
I was called a madman, saying KJ Martin's not going to play in Detroit.
I don't want to be disrespectful. He's just like, he's too light. He's
not that good.
Little for the position he plays. He shoot the ball. That's kind of the one move I saw, because I do agree, like I do kind of wish we grabbed some sort of big man. You guys know I wanted to stretch for. I knew they were going to grab that secondary ball handler, though, because we just literally didn't have one.
You didn't have another guy that could dribble.
There was no one who could catch K to spell. At the beginning, like the fourth quarter in every game, it was very obvious. But when I saw the Suns trade Nurkic in the first round to Charlotte for Cody Martin and I don't even know how to say the other guys, that was the only one I was like, okay, well, what do we... Because I want a first-round pick. Give us a fucking first-round pick, for fuck's sake.
Can I explain that one?
Yeah.
So that pick was already owed the less favorable of 4 teams. So basically, I think it's like the Magic, the Rockets, the Suns, and somebody else. So it's basically the Suns were guaranteed, of those 4 teams, whatever draft pick ends up being the worst that year, it's that. So it's essentially guaranteed to be a late 20s first.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even, no chance of it ever being even
Still
like
first.
Even
Literally
like 21,
second.
22.
The war chest of seconds that we
I
have.
feel you, but you could package 4 seconds and move back in. Troy did that last year, and he moved to, what was it, like 25, 26? So
Troy was dead last year.
I'm not too mad. I know, but I'm just saying for asset-wise, like there's differences in first, and that was a first that is pretty much guaranteed to be a bottom 5 first-round pick. Yeah. So it's not like you lost out on the 18th pick. Like that pick's not going to really be a quote-unquote super valuable pick.
That's just like a cap eater I would have rather taken. But that's before we landed Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah.
And things made a lot more sense.
And I'd rather do that.
Because definitely scratching my head there for a minute. Schroeder plays a mean piano, says Rich Baldwin. He's also a skateboarder. Fun fact.
He's a weird guy. but he plays good basketball, and you needed him.